Previously, in X-Men, a dying alien grants a family of 4 children superpowers, and they become planetary protectors known as Power Pack. Concurrently, the X-Men maintain a turbulent peace with the sewer-dwelling mutant community called the Morlocks, ever since Storm won the role of leader through single combat with the deadly Callisto. But what happens when the needs of the deprived Morlocks conflict with those of the privileged surface dwellers, such as our hard luck heroes, the X-Men? I am Jason Lapidus.
I'm Chris Sanagan.
And we are Group 7 Comics. Welcome to episode 121 of our ongoing Tuesday night live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic, as we read Uncanny X-Men 195 by Claremont, Romita, and Green, cover date of July 1985. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks. I don't know where everyone else is in the world today, but it's beautiful weather up here in southwestern Ontario. We're hitting the 20s Celsius. I don't know how Fahrenheit works. All to say, the weather is looking good, and the flowers are out, the lilacs are blooming on the street, dog walking, all that good stuff. Oh, did you want to talk about X-Men?
Oh, we'll get there.
Okay, sorry.
Right about now. So now that our pleasantries are out of the way, let's begin with our limited series previously on X-Men 97, and we will give our review of episode 9, Tolerance is Extinction.
Pretty tame episode.
Part 2. Oh, what is...
Hey, congratulations.
We'll get to the balloons. I don't even know what to do with. I got to turn these settings off. Let's just say it, everyone in the chat. I see Ali M. Hey, Ali, how are you? Happy Tuesday to you. Exy Peeps. Nice. Say hey to Chuck. And Michael's here. And Jason Jose. Hey, y'all. It's nice to see you guys. X-Men 195 should be called Wolverine Stabs Some Kids. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to getting that issue. That one, it does mean something to me for us to talk about that. But before we go there, let's go here, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah, one of the good things about doing a live stream talking about our friends X-Men and X-Men 97, doing this days after it airs, is that all the screen caps have been gathered on the internet. I don't have to do any work. So as opposed to me going and sourcing out all these things, I just have to type in, X-Men 97 episode 9 and a whole bunch of pictures show up. So I grabbed a bunch, which is a pleasure, just for us to maybe share some visuals while we talk about it. Do you want to give your overall reaction to the episode? So again, spoilers ahead if you haven't seen episode 9 or 8 or 1 through 9 of X-Men 97. What's your overall feeling about this last week's episode?
I mean, a great. What is the point? What is the storytelling point chapter before the zenith? Like, we're just almost getting there. We get the final climax. Like, it took us to where we needed to go. It left us with one episode to go, and left us where it needed to leave us. And conflict, inner team conflict, the return of Magneto as big villain Magneto. Even the return to the costume, right? I mean,
right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, really. At the end of the 8th episode, we see Magneto has, and they just use some fun comic book science, not real science, but he has disrupted the magnetic field of the planet, thus giving it basically a death sentence as a planet. There's a death sentence, and they say something like there's 12 hours left of Earth before everyone's dead. Machinery is kind of not working much. All the Sentinels are down that were already on at that point. So all of Bastion's tech was sort of, shut down. And Magneto has said he's just going to destroy everybody. And he's looking for some allies. This episode started off with, and again, I'm going to forget some things. So we just want to go through kind of the things that you and I want to talk about. as opposed to breaking it down beat for beat. But it begins with Xavier, waking up on Earth, basically remembering like where he getting reacquainted with the life that he had left, in his comatose state that he was taking from. So he is once again bound to a wheelchair from his point of view, and the fancy hover chair is destroyed. He's in a hand propelled chair, the old fashioned kind, and he has a blowout with Scott about. Well, Scott has a blowout with him about the circumstances under which Xavier had left him and leaving the school to Magneto in his will. Did you find any of that powerful, or was that anything for you?
Yeah, it's father-son stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It reminded me a little bit of also like the Batman, Richard Grayson. Hey, when my back was broken, why did you leave the school? Or sorry, why did you leave the mantle to Azrael? Like the character that takes it astray, things that don't go well. Chuck has a question. He has an art direction question about the episode. Why the thick black lines around Rogue and Marvel Girl costumes? So in this case, I think what we're talking about here is what's often referred to as cell shading. So certain outfits get a certain visual treatment depending on what we are supposed to, how we're supposed to understand the material of the costume, whether they are really reflective or there's like a subtle gradient. This is a great picture to actually demonstrate Chuck's question, because Rogue looks like she has a thick outline and Magneto looks like he has a thin one. But you can see there is shading around the outside of sort of Magneto's limbs. It's just with Rogue's, they're shading it in black as opposed to a gradient of green. They're trying to communicate to us that that's just the nature of the material. This is, for me, this is one of the visual obstacles that I have to overcome when I watch X-Men cartoons, old and new, where there's not necessarily the most consistent application of shadow and of blacks to a character's costume when it comes to light and dark. There's some hit and miss. So, like look at Rogue's gloves versus her boots, for instance. So her boots are underneath her body, so there should be more in black, but they get that rim lighting. They get outside of her boots, get that light green, because that's the actual color of her boot, but it's in black because it's in shadow. But her gloves just get like almost a weird, like the front part is shiny, then toward the outside it gets black, but then gets rim lighting again. So it gives like a bit of a shinier look to it. It's odd. It doesn't always work. But luckily this series, more than the original, for me, it's hit way more than this. If we're just talking action figures for a minute, you could really see the difference between like how they conceive Magneto's other costume and action figure is this really dull, dark purple. But on the show, it was like quite a bright, light purple with those super heavy blacks all over it to give it that shiny look. So we get a variety. So how they're handling green is different than how they're handling red, and then how they're handling purple. It's just, like you said, an art direction choice that's supposed to communicate form and weight and all that stuff, and it doesn't always work. Ali says, I thought black sheen. Chuck, I could be off, but I thought like Superman's hair, kinda. Yeah, Superman usually gets those blue highlights on his hair. Actual facts. There you go. Thanks, Ali. We're working. We're trying here. And before we know it, I can't remember how many things happened, but there's a little bit of foreshadowing before we get to this moment where the characters are talking to each other in a few different situations. I know that Rogue is down by the water and she's wearing Remy's coat, which I thought was a nice, powerful storytelling touch. Like, it's sort of like her last goodbye, and then she's going to abandon it, which she did. She puts the coat down, hands it over, and then walks away in her oldest costume. Because I guess her costume was destroyed when Bastion pummeled her in the last episode.
Right. All their costumes have been destroyed.
Right. So Wolverine's was destroyed in the fire in the mansion.
Storm
Nightcrawler's, of
changes
course,
her
wasn't because
costume.
he doesn't. Yeah, Storm makes an active choice. Like in her rebirth, she changes to what we would understand to be her original suit. Jubilee updates hers and goes for the black bodysuit, keeps the red trench or the red raincoat.
Cyclops and Jean Grey go back to.
Yeah, well, we're not there yet, dude. That's coming. That's coming. This is just the her finding her old, like, this is a suit that is before she joins the X-Men, she wears this in the comics too, a darker green with the white piping and or white trim, whatever. And it's neat to kind of have her go back to that. There's a hood for this suit too, as she was like villainous, you know. Chuck says, I'm not complaining. It was clearly a choice they made, and I just don't know what it was communicating. Yeah, weight, texture, those kinds of things, but it doesn't always work. Allie says, I really felt like she should have kept Remy's coat. Not that she made the wrong choice leaving it. It's great symbolism. Just made me sad. Like, no, keep that. You know what she might have done? Let's look at it this way. I'm going to spin it, Allie. She hands over the coat to someone she knows will take care of it, because where she's going, she doesn't want Remy to get wrecked while she's there. You know what I mean? Like, she knows she's going to go do something. She might die. She might, if she doesn't have a home anymore. So she's leaving it at the home after one last chance to kind of wear it and smell him, and then, move on, as people love to sometimes wear the clothing of their loved ones. So I thought it was like a custodial choice to leave the jacket with. Who did she hand it to? Do you remember?
No.
Whether it was Nightcrawler or Jean, I don't remember. But she handed it off, and then sort of shed herself of that one last remnant of the good in her, and just floats up and looks down on all the rest of the mutants. Like, yeah, you should have been there on Genosha. You didn't see what we saw. You know. Yeah, she hands it to Professor X. Okay. Thank you, guys. And then, surprisingly, Roberto is wearing a New Mutants costume, which we have not really seen on the show yet.
The black
and then he flies, which I thought was weird. He's got flying powers.
That's an update?
Well, in the old comics, he was ground-bound, earthbound, and Cannonball was the flyer. But, this could be... I don't know if he's flying in modern comics.
There you go.
So, yeah, there's... Everyone is gathered at the pier or whatever, at the long dock, and the lake behind the Xavier's mansion for this big confrontation. With the team is divided. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you were saying about the old costumes. Yeah, so eventually the X-Men go to Muir Isle, and they split into two groups. Here we get to see like the jumpsuit Professor X wears, and Wolverine in what's often called the brown and tan, but depending on who renders it, what colorist, it really is just a dark red. And I have to say, as like him being an Alpha Flight, kind of guy, or a character like I like it better when it's the dark red, not a dark brown, if that makes any sense. So I think this looks great. My daughter said to me, like, she goes, Dad, that Marvel Girl costume, it's just not practical. Yeah, no kidding. Storms isn't either, but yes, I hear you. Boots and skirt. But crazy to see this is her pre-Phoenix costume.
Yeah.
And this is like the long-standing Cyclops costume for, like 20 years almost. It's wild. When I saw these suits, I don't know if you thought about this. Did you think at all about Pride of the X-Men?
No, not really.
No? So everyone is wearing their costumes from Pride of the X-Men. Each of the members that were in both shows. I thought it was kind of fun. Of course, Colossus is not on that old show. But, Colossus is not on the new show, but it is the Dazzler. But anyway, I kind of like that idea. And so then they eventually go and form, like Jason's saying here, the gold and blue teams. Which, do you know about that, Chris?
Isn't that like a 2000s thing? Like
No,
old X-Men? No, okay.
right from that Jim Lee run. They basically split the team in two. So if they have enough members, they call them one gold and one blue. Because, there you go.
Why not?
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I don't know if you saw this online. So Cyclops also goes and gives Gambit an X-Men suit.
Cable.
Oh, sorry, Cable. Pardon me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bishop, Gambit, and Cable have names that I just don't connect with. So he goes and gives them an X-Men suit, and they make that great joke from, when I say great, I'm kind of rolling my eyes, but the joke from the original X-Men movie where Wolverine is like, you guys actually go outside in these things? And Cyclops says, well, would you prefer yellow spandex? So they did that one in reverse. What would you prefer, black leather? And King Lee posted this, here, son, one more thing. And you bring them the briefs, the yellow jockeys or whatever. That was a fun, timely,
Yeah.
Speaking of, we're talking about doing this kind of stuff too. But these sort of joke cartoons at the expense of the old comics. But this is a fun one that could be in that Cable suit. Are you a fan of this look for Cable, or is it no strong feeling either way?
No strong feeling either way. It seems very. I don't know. Is this one of? I'm trying to think if this is like so. Right, his other suit when he's not wearing this, it's still blue, but it hasn't got the yellow and the X's, right? So
right. It's like a
is
giant
this
shoulder
that he
pad.
wears at some point?
This is, for a lot of people, they would call this one his Capcom suit.
Oh, okay.
So when there's that 90s video game,
the
X-Men Street Fighter game,
yeah,
this is the suit that Cable wears in it. And for a lot of people, like that's their way in, right? For a lot of X-Men characters. It was a huge one, and they just made a Marvel Legends of the suit too. Yeah. Perfect timing, and for me, I like the idea of having characters.
It's like they knew it was coming.
Yeah, it's like they knew. It's so cool, so cool. And then we get that slow motion scene.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it's neat. Of course, Cyclops he's back there. He's behind Storm and Wolverine, and Marvel Girl or Jean Grey is behind Jubilee's coat. You can see her feet sticking down. Beast hasn't changed outfits, which is totally fine. And this one for Morph is a deeper cut too. So again, we talked about how Morph isn't really a comics character from this era, but he does become a comics character because of the show. So much like Harley Quinn is brought into the Batman comics because of her time on the cartoon, Morph is spiritually, a riff on Changeling and another old X-Men character whose name just escaped me because I'm old. So he's like an amalgam of them both. Mimic, thank you. Changeling and Mimic. But he is an original character for the cartoon in 92. And then because of its success, when there is an alternate reality where the exiles are, it's getting convoluted now. I realize he's in that world, and he has this white face in that world, and so now it's sort of reflecting back on the cartoon from part of his look from that time period. So this is like a little more of a nod to Exiles, Morph with the shoulder pads and this kind of look. It's kind of fun.
Nice. We get Forge too.
Yeah, and Forge is back. I like it with that bandolier. The version I have on my shelf over there, he's wearing like straps, but they were just reusing older ones. I'm not sure if I have a good pocketed or pouched bandolier like this in my collection of parts, but I'll try and find something. Toy Rensu, sup? How are you? Hope you're doing well. Look how red Wolverine's boots are. Come on, that's red, right? That's not brown. Do we agree? Looking right there, Forge's boots are brown. Wolverine's boots are red. Let's stop calling this the brown and tan. It's red. It's so good red too. Anyway, I'm into this. And did you notice also with the jet, like the Stratojet? It's not the Blackbird. It's like the older one that Dave Cockrum used to draw.
That's right.
Super deep cut.
And right beside the jet
Oh yes,
was the Wolverine motorcycle,
the insane Wolverine motorcycle with
right? With the
the
two
claws on the
claws.
front.
I love the idea from a storytelling purpose that so we want to throw in some of these D cups. We want it to be meaningful though, so it's not necessarily just like they're wearing this costume now. Let's have them trash the mansion. Like, oh, we have to go to our backup base, which we haven't used in a while, so it has all this old stuff. I'm like, perfect. It's a perfect way to bring those things back into this, so we get to have a bit of fun with it. They get to get the gear up and like the older suit. We get to see these little nuggets, but like that to me is like a really, it shows you kind of how on fire they are with this, where they're like, we're going to bring these deep cuts in, but we're going to bring it in through a storytelling device that actually makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I loved the Spider-Verse movies, especially the first one, because it was the one that set the tone for that franchise. And I just love that everything Spider-Man is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing that was made, in the 60 years of Spidey that didn't get somehow a nod, including the old theme song, every iteration, the popsicle, like it all gets in there. Comic book aesthetic got in there, just every version of everything. The Spider Buggy got into the movie. And I just love that I'm using the word inclusive in a different way. How it included the full range of Spidey things, and it felt like a real love letter to Spider-Man and to people who love Spider-Man in all of its iterations. And this feels like similar, not as intensely, like a love letter to all things X-Men. So to me, there are like hints of video game, hints of toys, hints of unused pilots for 80s cartoons. Obviously, it's the 90s thing, reference to the movies, reference to the comics. It's like everything is kind of included in this in some way. And I love the things, obviously, that are aimed right at me. And I'm really digging the things that even aren't for me or aren't aimed at me that I know are hitting for other people. Like I said, like Capcom Cable.
Sure.
Or Exiles Morph. Like those things I missed, but I'm really glad they're there. And I think people are really digging on all of it. Toy Rensu is throwing this, and I don't know if you noticed this one, Chris.
I did.
Did you notice the humans in the intro became Prime Sentinels?
Right.
So we're talking about in the intro of the show, there's a part where like humans are running away in panic.
As the two teams are about to meet, the villains and heroes are about to meet.
Yeah, now they're all Prime Sentinels, like in like Bastion, like with the eyes, and it's very cool.
I also love how many guns Forge is rocking in there.
Oh yeah,
like he's geared up, right? Cable's got one. He's just holding a bunch.
I don't think I have it on me. I think it's in my bedroom because I'm still reading it. But I picked up the sequel to Days of Future Past. I found it like out of print, crappy trade paperback. Days of Future Present or whatever it's called, which has a series of annuals from that time period, probably from about 87 maybe, or 88, like a Fantastic Four annual, New Mutants annual, and an X-Men annual, X Factor. And in it, Cable's there, and there is an artist drawing Cable who has not ever seen Cable from more than once, only from front view. And like the two giant guns that are sticking in Cable's like harness that he has or holsters, the artist didn't know that they are guns. So from the back view, they're just these two sticks that come out of his back. Like I really wish I could show the panel. We'll get there eventually when we are reading the other annual. But it was so funny that like he was beyond that artist's conception. They didn't know how to render him. So usually he does have a couple more guns. Like one does seem a little low for him. Love the Age of Apocalypse Exiles Morph. Is that your jam, Eli? How you doing, by the way? I hope you're well. I think he had different colors and a cape as well. But Eli, did you read Exiles? Was that your thing back in the day when you were a little kid? I hope it was. Glad you're here, by the way.
It's orange and a cape because it's in the Marvel Snap game on my phone.
Right.
Up and I'm like, what character is this? Oh, it's Morph? No idea. Anyway.
Right. I love you too, Eli. You love all the time traveling stuff. It's bonkers. It's really funny to read like episode descriptions of the original series when you see that there's an episode where Bishop shows up and Cable comes back to stop Bishop from stopping Cable from stopping Bishop, and you're like, what is going on? It's bonkers. Ali loves, or your fingers are crossed for Age of Apocalypse. Oh my goodness. Again, I said before, I think they're often taking things from those larger stories and crossovers, but still playing within the storyline that they're aiming for. But I wonder if they're going that direction. It would be a really crazy, I mean, do we even say like end of the season cliffhanger thing if Xavier turns into, I don't want to spoil for Chris. Anyway, it might be something nuts. And the new one had a first appearance of Agent Carter, and you sold it for $80. Oh my gosh. They did it in the old series. The new one had a first appearance of Agent Carter? I don't even know what you mean. Who knows? Okay, moving on. So then they divide into the two teams, right? One goes in the Stratojet toward like Island de la Muerte or whatever they were calling it, the place
the Galapagos.
And the Galapagos, where Bastion has his base. So one team goes that way, and one team gets in the Blackbird with the extra boosters on it.
Yeah, to go to space.
Wasn't that a reference to in Pride of the X-Men? Do they attach extra boosters to go to space to Asteroid M?
I don't know.
It was like, it'll take us.
Folks, go watch our episode on Pride of the X-Men. Let us know.
It'll take us half an hour to add these booster rockets to modify the Blackbird so we can go into outer space. So when they get there, they do. They get into action, and here goes Morph. Just turns into the Hulk and gets out of the amazing line, Morph Smash.
Morph Smash.
Which is such a joy to hear, just them having fun. And you and I were at the Toronto Comic Arts Festival on Saturday. We got the chance to hang out. We weren't tabling or showcasing anything. We were there to socialize and see friends. And it was a joy. But we got to talk to lots of people about X-Men, whenever we had the chance. And we'll talk more about him, I think, down the road. But we get to talk to an animator who worked on the show.
Yeah, visual effects. Yeah.
And we were chatting about what are the rules of Morph, and I just asked him point blank, is it just like, is he there for our amusement? Like it's just whatever is fun to look at, or is he actually a character with boundaries that you can kind of rely on to serve another function in the show? And we don't have a definitive answer, but the conclusion I know that I came to was that it's just for fun. So I kind of I don't care how real or not realistic the application of Morph's powers are. I'm just going to roll with it and have a good time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why overthink it?
Well, because we like things to make sense. It's one of the
comics,
joys.
It's comics.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride.
I'm trying. I do want to know what his boundaries are, but I have this fun thought in my head that Morph's not even there. That it's just a psychic imprint on everybody.
Wow.
That he's there just as
it's like a Ferris Bueller's Day Off situation.
That he's just there for Wolverine emotionally. He's like an astral plane projection for Wolverine, just to get out some aggression, some camaraderie, some sexual tension, just some fun things for him. Of course, I do not really believe that. I just like the idea of that. But anyway, so there's lots of, oh my gosh, Age of Ultron stuff going on here. Dark Beast, Jean and Wolvie. Yeah, it will be pretty wild. So we will see what happens. Oh, here we go. Eli says season 4, episode 9 and 10. One man's worth is Age of Ultron in the OG cartoon.
Age of Apocalypse.
Age of Apocalypse. Pardon me. Yes, I actually just watched that one again for I don't know how many times now. I just watched the One Man's Worth in season 4, and it's crazy. Do you remember that one, Chris? I know you watched it probably earlier this year.
What happens in it?
Okay, so it's a two-parter, and it starts right away with some like crazy alternate reality time jumping stuff. Where
Is this the one where they go back in time, like Wolverine and Storm?
Terminator style.
And they're a couple?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so there's a stretch of time where they are in the we're in their present in the alternate reality.
Yeah.
So the reality where Xavier was killed. And we see like Magneto is the leader.
Yeah, he's like wild long hair, and Mimic is there. And
Mimic is there.
Yeah.
And the Avengers basically show up.
Yeah.
Including 2 versions of Giant Man, both Goliath, and then a Giant Man in another set of panel, like another frame. I wonder if 2 different animation teams were working on it. They didn't realize it was supposed to be a different version. Awesome. So we see like the blue and yellow Goliath. And then at one point we see the like classic Hank Pym Giant Man. It's just weird. Black Widow is there. There's a Captain America analog there. Mm-hmm. There's so many characters that you're just like, I'd love to dive into that. Let's just see how these characters play out. So it was really, really bonkers. But the focus is on Storm and Wolverine with
sweet. And nice
Bishop and his sister, who's
Shard.
Shard, yeah. After the full episode, Olivia and I, my daughter, were like, "What is her name even? We don't even know." So yeah, that was a lot of stuff.
Shard.
Yes. Ali says, Eli, I have no recollection of that. I will absolutely be revisiting that. Yes, it's entertaining and bonkers, but it's a fun 2-parter, 45 minutes of your night. I'm so good with the show being its own story, taking bits and pieces, and at times the OG did that too. It is fun. That's really what it's there for, so I'm digging it too. Morph Smash. And then Jean takes Hulk and like spins him for his smashes with her powers. She goes on a whole fight with Mr. Sinister, and we get to see a very elaborate use of his abilities too.
By the way, one thing we did, and Beast is part of that too, and he like slashes a guy's arm off, so that's interesting. Sentinel's arm. But then it made me think, and one thing we didn't talk about, which I did love about, I guess episode 1 or 2. I guess the first one when they go to see Bolivar Trask, and that first episode, he gets in the Sentinel and works it himself, and I'm like, wow, that's great. I love that.
Sentinel as a mech.
Right. Beast as a mech. Fun. Yeah.
I'm a fan of that as well.
Totally.
So this one, he takes the arm off. The extended hand, and he's slapping them with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the action sequences are phenomenal. Yeah. They're really dynamic and so much fun to watch. Right to the end.
Whoa.
Well, listen, the pictures I gather were not meant to be comprehensive, just guiding our conversation a little bit. So as it plays out, the X-Men on the island are defeated, essentially. Morph is knocked unconscious as he tries to disguise himself as Sinister.
Yep.
I think he just knocked unconscious. Beast is restrained by Bastion's technokinesis.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Jean.
Well, Jean, but because Jean and Sinister's as well, that's where Cable comes in.
Right. Oh, and he uses Cable against Jean because he has the gem. Yeah. That was fun too. That was neat. Jean starts chucking those bowling balls at Sinister. Like, I love that she applies her power strategically and with force. It's always exciting. So that team gets sidelined, and the team that goes up to space, we could talk about this ad nauseum. Why would you ever send Wolverine up against Magneto? And the idea is so that we get to the end that we all want to get to. Of course, it's not strategic. At first, Magneto just throws metal obstacles, Darth Vader styles, at Luke Skywalker, on Cloud City, and he fights them off.
Misses.
Yeah. Like the styrofoam chunk.
Yeah, the styrofoam,
on a string. You're like, okay, sure, we believe you. So there's that part, and each of them, Cyclops is doing some crazy damage. All the characters are involved. It's really intense, the fighting. It's great. and there's a bit of a back and forth, and one confusing moment that I'm unclear as to what happened. There was a moment where Professor X was effectively immobilizing Magneto.
Yep.
They'd knocked his helmet off.
Yep.
And Cyclops did something to stop it from continuing.
Yeah.
What happened there?
He says he gets like a psychic thing from Jean, who's like getting defeated. And she's like, "Scott, I love you," or something like that. And he's like, "Jean," and he does, "Jean," and then so he gets that, and then he's like, "They need more time." He says they need more time, and I think he's also concerned that Xavier's going to kill Magneto.
So by saying they need more time, he's saying we can't we can't kill Magneto yet.
I think so.
Okay. I'm going to pause right there for a second and take a look at what's happening in the chat. Chuck says, you can think whatever you like about the story the show is telling, but the action sequences in this series are fire. They're so dynamic. Yeah, big time. It's because Jean kissed Logan. I've been watching with a friend who is not that much of a comics fan. She has been very engaged by the way they depict the action. Yeah, the action is unbelievable. And Eli agrees with anything Chuck will say ever. So Chuck, you could say something totally scandalous. Eli will agree. Yeah, it's awesome. The show is great. I love those action sequences. So Cyclops knocks the Professor Xavier over to stop him from destroying Magneto.
Yeah.
And then in like that brouhaha and that melee, Magneto takes his helmet, puts it on Xavier, and starts crushing his head.
Yeah.
And then Wolverine, of course, gets the upper hand because Magneto's distracted. And Wolverine sticks Magneto on his right side, up through his back. So you get the awesome shot of the claws coming out of his torso. Yeah. And then in agony, Magneto retaliates against Wolverine. Right?
He says something too. He says something like "finally," and is he referring to the fact that like your X-Men are now ready to kill, kind of thing? Like, is that what this is that about?
Maybe like they're prepared to take that last step.
Because previous to that, like Rogue and Wolverine are fighting each other, and like they're just throwing each other through walls, right? And Roberto and Jubilee have paired off, and she's trying to beat him, and he's like, "Hey, Jubes, I've said I'm sorry." Like, that was right. Funny. And then you get this.
Yeah, which is like they went so far with this moment. They didn't actually animate it fully, right? It's just a few stills with some slow motion.
Yeah.
I guess that's pretty dramatic. Like, look at his feet. Even you see his boots or his toes are sticking out. Like he is. It was really grotesque. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you see it. You see his chest. You see underneath his chest bubble, and it starts to come out. There you go. And they're
amazing.
Also, but then this is also the thing too, where the people who like Rogue and Sunspot, siding with Magneto have to see how cruel he can be to then realize, right?
Yeah, just before this happens, Xavier, as he takes Wolverine in his control, Xavier yells like, "Magnus, don't do this!" Like he knowing what's about to happen.
Totally.
And pulling the adamantium off of his bones. Like, this is a wild idea. I wonder how much story we're going to actually get. Like, how much character work we're going to get on Wolverine after this. If it just basically takes him out of the show for the last episode. If he recovers in any way and is of any use. And... yeah, I mean, this is where the reveal of the bone claws comes from. Mm-hmm. That, all of us in the 70s and 80s didn't know that. I mean, neither did the writers. I mean, Claremont didn't think of it as being bone claws. Everyone thought that the claws were a bionic addition. Even if you read, the definitive origin in Weapon X, like you're not getting any indication that he had claws as a part of his mutation. So it was just a fun retcon, but obviously it's stuck. People really respond to it, and wild. Yeah, can't believe it.
Also, Magneto's a dick because he kept saying to Charles when he clearly couldn't walk, when he's like, "Will you walk my path now, Charles?" Like, oh, come on, man! Like, just you could have changed the word, Magnus. Jeez.
Yeah, that's right. Chuck is reinforcing my point about the Bone Claws being a retcon, and that's not to say that it's not an interesting one. So I'm not putting a value judgment on it. Chuck is saying, especially after the original Days of Future Past, where you see Logan's all metal skeleton.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can see the bionic housings in his forearm in many of the cross sections and schematics of Wolverine. That was part of him, was to add those pieces in, and that's okay. It does fit with the character's overall narrative that he also does have claws, as he is, wolf. He's feral,
Sure.
So that matches just fine. I don't have any issue with it. Can I? Speaking of
quick hot poll in the chat. Who's staying up to watch it tonight at 3 a.m. after we talk about this episode? Who? Come on! I want to see some hands. I want to see someone say, "I'm doing it. I'm doing it."
I wouldn't be surprised if our friend Eli is.
West Coast Eli.
West Coast Eli.
Which suggests there's an East Coast Eli, by the way.
Well, Eli is East Coast Eli too, right? He's from Maryland. He's living the California.
All right, he's doing it. So. Eli, you're doing it. You're going to be the one.
Yeah, I do think they would sound different, sure, because the stick is kind of that metallic, has that metallic.
Maybe a finger snap.
Maybe. Yeah, he's only
midnight.
We
all have work in the morning, Chuck. We all have work in the morning.
Yeah. Well, Texas Chuck. I mean, it's
all right.
Closer, but here. Yeah. Troy Rensu, it is. You're gonna wait 3 a.m.
Do it.
Whoa.
That's right.
And Ali says, "I'm waiting till Thursday to watch with my friend. She's patient.
You're a good friend. You're a good friend.
You're a very nice person." Yeah, I
love though. I mean, there's plans, right? Everyone's gonna watch this episode. So I was it's gotta wait till Thursday with my friend. I gotta do it tonight. I got work tomorrow, so it's gotta be tomorrow night. It's good. Everyone's watching it at work.
Tomorrow for me, for sure. Watching at work, I work from home. Perfect. I'll be watching as usual at 7 a.m. with my daughter, with her morning cup of tea.
What's Olivia? Yeah, your daughter. What's her take on that last scene there with Wolverine?
She thought that was gross, but was affected by it. She thought it was powerful.
Is she? Have you talked about? Is she excited to watch it tomorrow morning?
Yeah, definitely. She's into it.
Dad, tomorrow. It's tomorrow. We gotta watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, we will. We talked about. We rewatched episode 9 Sunday night, so we're ready. So speaking of X-Men being injured,
yes.
This is something that happened in my house.
What the heck?
My dog came and took it off the shelf.
What is that? I don't even actually know what that is.
It's Pyro.
Oh, it's Pyro. No, doggy, no! No, doggy! Oh, doggy!
He tore an arm off.
Oh, my arm!
He chewed him up. So yes, it's Pyro, Chuck. This was a figure that was only available in a 2-pack with a villain kind of suit style Rogue. Of course, those who know the figure know that it's Uncanny Avengers Rogue, and this was the only Pyro from the modern Marvel Legends, and it took me, I don't know, a couple of years to get this one, find it at a good enough price, not break the bank, and he is just destroyed. I have all the pieces, but my dog, who I love very much, destroyed the plastic for the joints. So now I'm really hoping that
my Pyro.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael. he is such a dingo. I'm really hoping that they make a new Pyro, but man, I only had him for 6 months. Oh, I don't know what to do. He's on my desk anyway. Yeah. If he has to eat a Brotherhood member, Pyro, well, he might be the tastiest, most barbecue-y one. But if I had to lose one, if I had to pick of the group, I mean, Avalanche.
Avalanche.
He's probably the one I could get the cheapest if I had to. If we're just talking about action figure value, But if you're talking about characters who deserve to be bitten by a dog, Pyro definitely deserves it as a character. For sure. Yeah, there you go. No. That's not the idea there, Eli. I love the idea of people being sweet and stuff, but not like this is. I'm good. Don't worry. There are many more things that should come as a priority other than me getting a new action figure. Not like I don't have a few thousand. You know, it's no problem. Yeah, Eli, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to spend money. I bet they're going to make a new one within the next 3 or 4 years. And dude, I can wait. I'm just going to complain.
And hey,
get a little mileage.
Pyro's coming back. Deadpool and Wolverine. We know that for sure.
Yeah, but I definitely don't want that version. I don't like that guy.
I know. Just saying.
The Blob would be more filling. And if I lost my Blob, like that figure, retail is expensive.
Yeah, that's like a big guy, right?
He's a big boy. He's on my shelf right there. I can see his head right there. But anyway, Eli is coming. Thanks, buddy. Father's Day is coming too. You don't have to go right to our shared Judaism. It's anyway. Chris, are you drinking anything tonight?
Tea. What are you drinking?
You're drinking tea?
Yeah.
No. What's
No
over
what?
here?
Cognac.
No cognac?
Well, I mean, I have some in front of me. I could always open up the old Hennessy and have a tip of taste.
All right.
Ooh. To Pyro, we hardly news you.
Oh, fine. We'll just do it this way. There you go. To Pyro.
Pyro.
Cheers.
Brownest of the brown.
Ali has a query. She says, I swung by my comic shop today. I asked them to look up Group of 7 comics.
Get out of here.
Said he can see in the system that we exist, but couldn't add it to your pull list. Is it a distribution thing, and why? Yes, it's a distribution thing because we do not have American distribution. We are our own fulfillment center. We are publishers, makers, and we handle fulfillment on this end. And that's how it is for now.
They can see it in their system. I would have no idea how that got.
Yeah, the system I think they used is just Google.
Right.
But yeah, we have not yet made any kind of arrangement with American distribution. We've just done it all ourselves and shipped things over the border. Yeah. But that's nice of you to go asking.
Thanks, Allie.
But if you really want to know, just email us.
Yeah. The easiest way to get our comics if you are interested and no pressure. But the easiest way is
shouts to your local shop. Do me a favor, drop their name in the chat. I'm the name of your store, just because I love knowing different comic stores in different parts of the world, and they should get a shout out for
Philly.
For hopefully being a good shop. Yeah. Chris, what's your local store called?
The Dragon.
Ooh, the Dragon.
Dragon.
Americans are people too, you guys. Yeah.
I know. We know.
Thanks. Yeah, my local shop is Planet X. Oh,
Brave New Worlds in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
There you go. My friend, are you ready for this?
So I am, and even more so now that I know that, like, if Wolverine doesn't have his adamantium, can the Power Pack defeat him? I'm going to say yes.
Well, he would gut those children like.
Look at him gut those. Look at him. First of all, he's smoking in front of them.
I know.
Bad role model. And then he's willing to gut the youngest.
He smokes in all the comics at this point in time. It's a character thing. It's like one of the defining characters of you know.
Yeah.
Jason says, "Who's doing the Power Kids voices?" They were from Virginia and recently moved to New York.
Accents.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't know if you know this, Jason. The Powers children exclusively watched television from Southern Ontario. So they have an accent that is eerily similar to mine.
Polka Dot Door.
Polka Dot Door.
Today's special.
Today's special, yeah.
So there's a few there. Degrassi High, Junior High, and Degrassi. The kids of Degrassi Street.
Kids of Degrassi. That's where you go. There you go. Toyrensu says, I've never been to Planet X. I've seen it when I lived in the area a few years back, but it was always closed. And closed when I was around Walmart. It is a shop that is very limited by its space, but it's the staff there that makes it great. And because I go there semi-regularly, they treat me very, very nicely and put things aside for me, even things I haven't asked for that they think I'd want. So, and Anthony, who works there, I'm pretty sure he stocks books just because he thinks I'm going to buy them, and he puts them front and center to tempt me as I pass through the store. So he's the bane of my existence in the nicest of ways. Yeah, super nice people there. I'm very grateful to have them in my neighborhood. All right, buddy, here we go. So we got the Powers kids. There are 4 of them. We're going to do our best not to make them too whiny, but they are little, especially the yellow one. She's very little.
Okay.
So we'll figure it out. And we got a Bill Sienkiewicz cover where, he's at this point already doing some awesome New Mutants work. This does not seem like one of his radical pieces. This is pretty straightforward, not too abstract, but still neat. Like the graphic use of the smoke works really well. But he's really stretching when it comes to Wolverine's mask. That's pretty playful and different. And this was a very dramatic cover. It's a good one.
That's cool.
This is where, that's a brown, right? That's brown.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it, as I've already said, I like it red. Okay. Let's do this, Chris.
Dive in. Here we go.
Yeah, man.
Wolverine versus Children.
Wolverine versus Children, Part 1. Remember those Reese's Pieces?
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing, man? It's Reese's Pieces.
What are you doing?
Manzukis, come on. Get your shit together. Reese's Pieces.
At the end of the show, Jason Manzukis.
Yes. Once upon a time, 4 young children received a wondrous gift from a dying alien explorer. Elfrey Whitemane. Fantastic powers that were to be used to protect their world. Since then, they've tried their very best to be true to their chameleon friend and the promise they made him. It was a dark and stormy night. There you go. John Romita, Dan Green, again, Tom Orzechowski, Glynis Oliver, there since the beginning. Ann Nesenti as the guide, Jim Shooter as the guide-in-chief. And we get a weird panel of everyone sleeping in one bed. That is, I say weird because it's a lot of people. And let's assume a king size. All 4 kids, man, I wouldn't be happy if I was any of those kids.
Oh, I mean, you don't sleep, but I've definitely been in a bed with a king size with kids in the household, and they all happen to be in the same bed.
Yeah, I've been in the bed with all the kids too, but that's only 2 kids. This is 4 kids.
4 kids.
It's a lot of kids. Their names are Alex, Julie, Jack, and Katie. They are the Power Pack.
Hey, chronology question.
Yep.
This is 1985.
Yep.
At what point has the Power Pack been introduced?
About 1985.
Okay. All right.
It is a relatively new comic, and I would argue that they are, as to use one of the kayfabe words, they're trying to hotshot the book.
Hotshot.
So people who are looking, it's like a wrestling thing. So the idea is that people who are reading X-Men, which is a top-selling book, are now seeing Power Pack characters.
Right.
And maybe they'll be interested and want to read a little Power Pack.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Because maybe they're not that interesting. Now, as a kid, I did read Power Pack. My brother collected it. I think he collected it because it was he could get #1. That was something doable. Whereas you couldn't just go and find X-Men #1 or something like that. So, he found it as to be accessible. I was curious about Power Pack because at this point, I was 10 and I'm at the end of grade 4. And I was in no rush to grow up at 10. I was very, very happy to be a 10-year-old living my 10-year-old life, playing with my G.I. Joes and reading, comics and drawing and all the fun things. Nothing has changed since then, except I have my own kids. But I wasn't like rushing to read comics only about grown-ups. I was very happy to still be in the kid world, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an example of that. So there are 2 boys and 2 girls. The age goes Alex, Julie, and then the younger guy, his name is Jack, and the littlest one is Katie. Do you want to each take one older and each take one younger?
Sure.
You go ahead. You can get first choice.
I'll be Alex. And
you be Alex, then I'll be Julie. Is that her name?
It is now.
Yeah, it's Julie, and then I got Jack, and
I'll be Katie.
You got Just watch out for that whining, okay?
Okay.
No whiny. I mean, she's little, but there you go.
Okay.
Allie says, I just giggled at kayfabe, but of course, in a realm that is comics and hockey friendly, that checks out.
Yeah.
Hands yellow, heart red. Oh, I don't know what that means. But there you go. All right. Yow! Yikes!
What was that?
Jim?
Mommy! It's okay, Margaret. Nothing to worry about. It's only thunder.
Easy for you to say, Dad. It sounds like the whole world's coming to an end. Thunder follows, the lightning flashes almost immediately. The storm must be right overhead.
Mommy, I'm scared, Mommy.
Chris, only one, Mom. There, little one. Don't cry. Jim?
You think this is something, Katie girl? You should see a hurricane.
Who are you, children?
What are you doing here? How did you get into our apartment?
Oh,
huh? We live here? Hey, Dad, what gives? Is this some kind of joke?
Sure, it's funny. Haha. Look how hard I'm laughing. Put a sock in it, Jack Power. This is no time for your smart mouth. Oh, Katie, don't cry. Baby, everything will turn out fine. You'll see. No more fooling anymore, Mom. Please. I don't want to frighten you, poor darlings, or hurt you, but I'm not your mother.
We don't have any children. Much as we'd wish differently.
Come on, we'll show you. Alex, what's happening?
Beats me, Julie. Our floor is icy. Ow. Can you stub your toe in a dream? Julie, where's all our stuff?
It's empty. So's our room. Alex, this is real weird. The kitchen, no. Our cups and glasses and lunch boxes and everything, even our favorite cereal, they're all gone.
Julie, be careful. Don't let Mommy and Daddy see you move at light speed. They don't know about our superpowers.
Sorry, baby, I forgot.
Hey, Jack, my Disney World mug.
No luck, Alex.
The folks got me that just before Julie was born when I was still the only child. I know it's kind of selfish, but I always figured it was their way of telling me I was a little special because I was the first.
Doo-dee-doo-doo-doo-dee-doo-doo. We're in the Twilight Zone. Just read it as Alex.
Cut it out, Jack. That isn't funny. You're upsetting Julie.
You little twerp. I'm going to bop you. I really mean it. They're so confused, Jim, and so scared.
They're the only ones. What do we do, Meg?
They're such dears. I sure wish they were our own.
Really? You just met them and they showed up in your bed. Just saying. This isn't their home, Meg. We're not their parents. They're probably runaways. Listen to them, hun. They've got real psychological problems. Otherwise, why would they keep insisting they're ours? We have no choice. You've got to call child welfare and I guess the police?
Jim, look.
The kitchen's full of fog. The kids are gone.
So just to not rag on JRJR for his rendering of children, but I just, again, find this so easy to read. Like, I know exactly where they are. His use of space and, where and angles is just super clear every time.
Mm-hmm. They ducked out the back door. Call the precincts, Margaret. I'll go after them. I'm sorry, that's Chuck saying to try and do the dad like Will Ferrell, Harry Carey. If the moon was made of cheese, would you eat it?
Meanwhile, in the basement, come on, Mr. Ortiz, open up.
Will he know us, Julie?
Of course he will, silly. He's our super.
Don't bet on it, Jewel.
Don't say that, Alex. He's got to.
KNS, what is this? It's 3 a.m. What do you Ninos doing making such a noise? Why aren't you home in bed?
Great. We knew you can count on you, Mr. Ortiz. You recognize us, right? We're the Powers.
No, you ain't. New couple moved in last fall. There's just the two of them. They ain't got no children. You all better come inside.
Run for it!
Jack, as soon as we duck around the corner into the garbage room, cloud up. Make your fog again to hide us. Katie, disintegrate those big trash bags until you're powered up enough to toss an energy ball at the wall. And blast us away outside. Mister.
Bam! What are you going to ask?
I said Mister, because he's doing his best
Mr.
Cyclops. Alex is doing his best Cyclops.
Yeah, he's the eldest and the leader.
Mr. Ortiz? I seen the kids, Professor. They came to my door with the darndest story.
The police are on their way.
We better start searching ourselves, folks. This ain't no night to be on the street.
Hey, you know what looks really good in a drawn ad?
Show me.
Tootsie Roll.
Swallow.
Ugh.
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 Look at that log.
Soon afterwards,
Lousy
fog can't hardly see a thing. We're going to have to do this on foot.
Ah, yuck.
Storm's getting worse. Temperature's dropping too. We don't find them soon, those kids will probably freeze. I feel awful.
Julie, my teeth are chattering so hard, one's coming loose. I don't even have the magic coin the tooth fairy gave me when I lost my last one.
See Power Pack number 4.
I'm cold. I want to go home, and I want my mommy.
Me too, baby. The girls are taking this pretty hard. Hey, Alex, what gives? You're crying?
So sue me. Quiet, everyone. Stay down.
Want the great and wonderful Mask Master to hide us in another fog? No, just shut up. We're hidden behind these cans. They can't see us. Maybe we should give ourselves up, Alex. If we stay in the rain, we'll get sick. We're already soaked.
Won't our costumes keep us warm and dry?
Of course. How dumb can a person get?
We were so scared we forgot. Costumes on.
That's how their costumes work.
Did they say costumes off?
Yeah, but sometimes bad things happen. This is a all ages book.
Jeez, man. Phew, for a moment there, I was afraid nothing would happen.
Alex, if her chameleon costumes exist, then so does our smart ship, Friday. She'll help us. I thought Friday was a he, sis. Boys don't know anything. Unfortunately, Julie's desperate cries go unanswered. Oh, gosh, I washed our outfits after our adventure with the Morlocks. Power Pack 11 and 12. Do you think somehow I broke the built-in radios? And you say boys don't know anything. Sheesh. What now? Suppose we call Grandpa and he doesn't know us either.
How could everyone forget overnight? It's like some horrible night. Hey! Remember, you guys, we just met a Morlock named Beautiful Dreamer, whose power was to change people's memories.
She was friends with a creepy old lady, Anna Lee, who wanted us to live with her as her own kids. But Alex, both the X-Men and Callisto, Morlock's own leader, said she couldn't. She was to leave us alone.
Come on, Julie. Do we always do everything we're told?
Should we be doing this by ourselves? They're our parents. It's our job to save them.
Besides, how can we call the X-Men or our other pals, Spider-Man and Cloak and Dagger? We don't know where any of them live.
I hate the sewers. Watch out for rats. Where? Jack Power, you're a wicked, mean, rotten, nasty, evil little beast.
Alex, Jack and Julie are fighting. Okay, so Lightspeed can move fast in the air.
With rainbows.
One kid turns into a fart cloud. And then
His name is Fart Master, yeah.
Fart Master. The little one has energy blasts.
Yeah, she's Energizer.
Energizer. And what's Alex do? Oh, gravity. He controls gravity, I think.
Yeah, so he can kind of go up and he can go down.
Gravitron. Got it. Okay.
No, when there was an issue of Power Pack that I loved as a kid is when they all got their powers switched, and they learned to apply their powers in unique ways that other ones had never even thought of, and it was kind of cool. But there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually forget what Alex's code name is, but maybe it'll come to me as we go through.
Older brother.
Older brother.
Older brother.
Nasty, nasty, nasty. Such talk. Not all how good little children behave.
Julie!
It's awful. Morlocks! It's an ambush. They were waiting for us. We're stuck fast to Tar. Uh-oh. I'm gonna not. So, yeah, this one is sometimes a controversial kind of name. I'm gonna call this person Sticky Baby. You know about Dribber Song of the South?
I mean, I know that, yeah.
And yeah, so there are some names that don't hold up well, and sometimes they are words that are used to describe people in a way I'm not comfortable. Anyway, yeah, Sticky Baby.
Okay. Can we knock him out now? Can we? An ape's got me. Cripes, he's strong. Katie, run! Sis, get help! I won't leave you, Alex. Let my big brother go, you great big ugly ape.
Silly little girl, have you forgotten that your power balls are useless against Erg? I'll simply soak up their energy like a sponge. Ugh.
You liars. You promised you'd leave us alone.
Ow!
There's so many. I don't want to leave, but Alex, the oldest, he knows best. I better do what he says. Hey!
Not so fast, baby.
Don't call me that. Ha! You missed me. So I had no idea there was a Secret Wars 2, by the way.
Well, that's because the world wanted you to forget. I mean, the first one's not the most inspired of stories. It's just a really fun, get all your toys onto one sandbox and play with them. And this is a sequel to something that was uninspired in the first place. Different creative team. I think most, if not all, the issues are drawn by Al Milgrom. So it's visually very uninteresting. You might remember him from such films as the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine Limited series. But he's a staffer as opposed to a work-for-hire guy. And he's a reliable hand in terms of timing.
Sure.
And this was an idea to broaden the scope. So the Beyonder, who is the all-powerful being at the center of Secret Wars, really doesn't play much of a role, but he's the being at the center of it all. In this one, he comes to Earth to learn what it means to be human. And he goes through every title.
Right.
So the idea was you buy everything.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the first times Marvel tried something like this, where you're buying every issue for 9 months or whatever it was. You're buying everything off the rack wherever the Beyonder goes. You want to see the 2 pages where he walks through New York, meets Power Man and Iron Fist, and walks into the next book.
Right.
And none of it was really that interesting. I did read the same issues over and over again that I owned. I had a couple of them. I don't know why I said that in past tense. I'm sure I still have them. But nothing happened that felt like there were any real stakes. I still, since this point, I've never, and up till today, I've never enjoyed characters that can snap problems into existence and can snap away problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Don't be scared, Alex. I'll be back quick as I can. Honest. Golly, this is the subway. I've never been here by myself. Mommy says it's not safe. There's a station around the corner from our apartment. I bet I'll find a policeman. What do I tell him? My sister and brothers have been stolen by a mutant gang that live in these creepy tunnels? That the Morlocks have done something to make Mommy and Daddy forget us? So they don't know anymore who we are? Why does my face feel so funny? What's that light? It's so bright, that awful noise. Rumble, rumble. I want my mommy. I want to go home. Julie, Alex, Jack, where are you? Don't leave me alone. Friday, it's so dark and squishy and I'm cold and wet and there's rats and alligators and bugs. Please. Whitey?
Yeah.
Take your powers back. Make everything normal again. Please, 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 please.
Holy. Put in a call for EMS. Z, we need an ambulance. It's a kid. How places did she get here? No need to cry, little darling. You're safe now. Nothing to be afraid of. No one to fear. I'm a police officer, sweetheart. Are you hurt?
Get away.
That's a good last panel, by the way.
Thanks. It is.
No. I said the panel. You don't get to take credit for that.
I am taking credit for the panel, too.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. It is a good last panel.
Whoa.
She has a demon inside her, right? Okay.
What the heck was that?
I hit somebody. Good thing I wasn't too powered up.
Meanwhile, upstate, where I wish the comic actually started, in a certain school on the shore of Breakstone Lake, near the suburban New York town of Salem Center. Morning news.
What? Why am I up? I only went to bed 2 hours ago. Why am I alive? Studying all night for a midterm, plus a research paper to type this morning for Dr. Power's physics seminar, plus a danger room session with Wolverine learning how to phase more than one person. Ugh. Face facts, pride. You're getting too old for this. Huh? What's that about bozo babbling about?
Subway traffic on Manhattan's Upper West Side was disturbed just after midnight by a 5-year-old girl hurling balls of explosive lightning.
Focused plasma cells?
Police were able to subdue the fantastically costumed child, but only after one officer suffered minor injuries. Thus far, all attempts to identify the youngster have proved fruitless. It has been suggested that she is a mutant, that is, someone born with extraordinary abilities that set her apart from the normal run of humanity, perhaps a member of the outlaw team known as the X-Men.
She's not old enough to be one of us, you dope. I know that costume. It's Katie Power. But her face is so horribly changed. That's mask style. Of all the dirty, rotten, I better wake the others. Those lousy Morlocks broke their word.
See, it really could have started here.
Right. Really could have just started there.
I also love
an 8-pager.
What's that?
An 8-pager.
Yes. I love how Kitty's pouring her milk and just missing the bowl.
Yeah.
In her third
She's so
panel.
tired, man. She's studying. Do you see Professor Powers?
Yeah.
There's the connection, right?
Yeah.
There?
Bellevue Hospital.
The child is conscious and coherent. We've sedated her to the point where she's unable to manifest her extraordinary abilities. We've no idea how long the medication will be effective.
She refuses to answer any questions.
Small wonder. She's terrified. I've never seen anyone so miserable.
Or so ugly.
George, please. I put in a George. You bastard. I put in a call to Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. He'll be here soon. He likes to find children and take them away from hospitals. Katie? Kitty! Shush! Not a word, kiddo. Until we're safe.
With that, the youngest X-Men takes the youngest member of the Power Pack by the hand and phases them both down through restraints, bed and floor, to a storeroom on the floor below.
I've brought some of my teammates to help us. Katie Girl, Rogue, hey, little darling, and Rachel, and Wolverine. They're X-Men like me. Nightcrawler would have come too. Well, he's on another mission. Hey, where's the asterisk to tell me what mission he's on?
Good question.
As seen in Power Pack 6. Oh, Kitty, I was so scared. I knew they were going to lock me in jail forever. I was all alone with no more Alex or Julie or Jack or Mommy or Daddy. There. Don't cry, Katie. There's no more need to cry. Everything's going to be just fine. You got my word.
Coast is clear outside, cat.
Thanks, Wolvie. Kitty, I don't like him. He's scary.
He sure is. but there's none better to have on your side when you're in trouble. Katie, do you know what a telepath is?
Well, I am 4 years old, so yeah, kind of, I think.
Katie, do you like gladiator movies?
Kitty, do you hang around? No, it's terrible. I even like gymnastics.
It's when you talk with your thoughts, like I'm doing now, instead of spoken words. We need to know what happened to you, but you might mistakenly forget or leave out something important, which is why I'd like to read your mind rather than have you tell the story out loud. Is that okay?
Will it hurt, Rachel?
Just my eyes at your ugly, ugly face.
I've only ugly.
You won't even know I'm there. And if I find something you want kept secret, none of us will ever tell, no matter what. I promise.
That's all right then.
It's a tale quickly told that should not have been the opening of this comic. Beginning with a flash of blinding light, a boom of thunder that the kids thought presaged the end of the world, only to discover, to their horror, they were right. Nice people, these Morlocks. Real trustworthy souls. Callisto is.
I swear, if it wasn't for Katie, I'd be saying things that make Wolvie blush. I've never been so angry. We'll get your family back, Katie. And until we do, though, you can be part of ours. This jacket makes you an honorary X-Men. Nobody else in the world has one like it. No fooling? You're the first. Gosh, thank you, Kitty.
Alarms. These bozos finally noticed they'd lost their patient. Won't take a systematic search long to reach this place, boss. Time to vamoose.
Since when am I boss?
I love that, by the way. In this moment, she is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's taking lead, and he, it's a sign of respect. He totally respects her.
Totally.
And she's doing a good job. Also, just notice on the drawing side how much more form-fitting her outfit is than it was last time, where she was wearing like massive shoulder padded,
right?
Like a huge thing. This is a little tighter, but nothing ridiculous. Her boots are different than before, but Romita is iterating. He's trying to figure out how to make her look interesting, each time. So this is a new thing. So I'm with him. I'm with him. And she's wearing the tight bottoms, which she didn't have before. Nightcrawler isn't with us. You're the best qualified.
Says who? Natural selection. Don't touch my face, okay, Katie? My power to put you to sleep, and we don't want that, do we? No, Rogue, I'll be careful.
What Rogue really means is that she temporarily absorbed the kid's psyche and abilities, but telling Katie that'd scare her stiff. So Rogue fibbed. Good move, girl. You got the talent, Shadowcat. Today you start racking up some experience. Sometime later, a mile below the city streets. In the hidden labyrinth of tunnels, the Morlocks call home. That does not need quotation marks, dude. Morlocks call it home. That's fine. Also, the second quotation should be on the other side of the period. But moving on.
Well, I mean, sure, if we're going to nitpick, absolutely.
We're going to nitpick. Too many size screens around, Wolvie. My telepathic talent's virtually useless.
I hate this. It's awful and yucky and slimy and it smells. Why can't anything here be clean or pretty? Wish I'd never seen Whitey or Friday. Wish he'd never been given these stupid powers. Can't do anything right with mine. When I was asleep once, I disintegrated my favorite doll, and another time my grandpa's oboe. I thought being Energizer would be fun. We'd have neat adventures like Luke Skywalker, but this isn't it.
This definitely isn't it.
No.
Neither were his, really. On the other hand, if not for those powers, we'd all be history. If you hadn't stopped your dad's machine from being tested, it would have destroyed the Earth. The hardest part about growing up, Katie, is understanding accepting that every action is a mix of both good and bad. It ain't nice sometimes, but that's the way of things.
How'd you know about? Rachel, you told him, but you promised.
She said we'd keep your secrets, Katie Power, and we will. By the way, my friends call me Logan. Look alive, troops. The boss is back.
I wish you wouldn't call me that. It's embarrassing. Boss, I mean, really? Wow, way to go, Pride. I found something, guys. I think you should all see. My room. That's my bed and my big sister Julie's and all our clothes and toys and everything.
You there, X-Men? What are you doing in my children's room?
No more games, Annalie. No more lies. We've come for the power kids.
They're right in front of us, Cat. Masks may have changed their faces, but she can't disguise their unique scent. At least to my enhanced senses. These three match Katie. Their family. Of course they are. My family. I'm grateful for you returning my wayward daughter to me. We've missed her so. Katie, come here. Come to Mother.
Shut up! You're not my mother! Oh, golly, I powered up while we were waiting by disintegrating that yucky sewer water. I didn't mean to fire any power balls. I got too upset. I didn't think. Jack, Alex, Julie, duck!
Bada boom.
Uh-oh.
Attack our mom, will ya? Get him! I like how these are like little gangster, like little toughs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's got a little vest on.
Those street
He's tough
toughs.
now.
Little Morlocks street toughs.
He's a tough.
Oh, yeah.
Chuck, our discussion with the Oxford comma will have to wait, but I'm all for it. And then we get that ad right there. You get a power pack ad.
Yeah.
And different drawing style on this one, obviously. You get a weird mashup of like John Romita Sr. marketing image with something drawn probably for this ad. Anyway. I got Katie. I'll take her to Mom.
Julie, no, what are you doing?
Hush up, baby. Big sister knows best. No sign or scent of Callisto anywhere nearby. All the odds is she hasn't a clue what's being pulled behind her back. Blast! I thought I grabbed a Morlock, but it's one of the power kids. Can't hurt him, even though the cover of this issue suggests I stabbed him real good.
Shouldn't have hesitated, mister. My G-force and ugly face can make you lighter than air. Until I let you go. Happy landings.
So, just for, talking about things Wolverine has experienced, being light and flying up against the ceiling and then back down to the floor of this enclosed space, that ain't so bad for Wolverine.
Nope. No, he'll be all right.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Wolvie's unbreakable bones and fast healing talent ought to keep him from being too badly hurt. But young fella, you better pray you haven't made him mad. Otherwise, life around here could get downright unhealthy. Getting kind of crowded. Need some room to maneuver. This should do the trick.
Whammo.
I gotta draw as many of these jerks after me as I can to make things easier for the others. Hey, someone grabbed my face. My power.
As Wolverine noted, Rogue's ability is Rogue's is the ability to absorb the talents, memories, and very identity of whomever she touches. The Morlock Leech, rest in peace, however, neutralizes any superpower in his immediate vicinity. That's the original pronunciation of the word vicinity. Vicinity. To their mutual surprise, because Rogue is an amalgam of multiple personas, not all of them human, neither power works quite the way it's supposed to. In fact, for the most part, they cancel each other out. Leech, as is usual with Rogue's victims, is shocked unconscious. But instead of absorbing the little creature's power, Rogue loses all her own.
Whoa. Nice of you to zap the runt, Skirt. We'll finish a job permanent like. He's one of your own.
He was a pain. Nobody'll weep for him. Besides, we're gonna blame it on you.
And we're going to make sure to tattoo an arrow on your forehead. I've got a cane.
I think that's a crowbar.
It's a very long crowbar.
And I think the tattoo is not a tattoo, it's hair.
Is that hair? No.
I think so, but that's just how I'm reading it. And by the way, that is the haircut I had directly preceding the condition that I'm in now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nobody puts an arrow in my head, sucker. Ain't got no more strength than a normal woman, but I know how to use it. All I gotta do is keep breathing till this weird effect wears off, and I'll really make the proverbial fur fly. Suppose it don't, though. What the heck do I do then?
She whacked that guy right in the beard.
Yeah, that's a beard punch.
Oh no. Sorry. There's Tunch.
Yeah.
And this one. Thanks for that, Chuck. Shunt. You've ever wondered what it felt like or what it sounded like to kick a Morlock right in the face? It sounds like chunt. That's so funny. Too many to play by nice guy rules, Cat.
No claws, Wolvie. Morlocks and X-Men are friends.
Tell them that.
So long as I can phase us out of trouble, partner, we can afford to be merciful. The alley, the main Morlock tunnels.
Spotted the girls, Cat. They're in the crowd.
Figures.
Help us, everyone, please. They want to steal us away from our mom, from Anna Lee.
The true X-Men?
We look after our own, Outlander.
Oh, there's another Arrowhead guy right there.
Yeah. Or it's the same guy, just miscolored.
And it could be.
So do we. Better scoot after the kids, Shadowcat. I'll take care of business here.
Logan.
This time, Kitty, there ain't no other way.
I know. I still hate it.
That's why you're right for the job, boss.
Luck, Wolverine.
I'm not the one who's gonna need it. Don't fight us, Katie, darling. Don't cry. This is for the best. Just close your eyes and let me sing you to sleep. So beautiful dreamer can take away all the bad thoughts, the false memories that torment you. And when you wake, the world will be wonderful again, I promise. We'll be a family again, and we'll live happily ever after, my sweetling, like they do in your favorite storybooks. No! Don't you love us anymore, Katie? Don't you want to be with Jack and Alex and me?
Oh, yes, Julie, but not like this. Not with all your ugly, ugly faces.
Why is she so scared, Mommy? Why those X-Men monsters? What did the X-Men monsters do to her?
She isn't our mommy, Julie. You're not our mommy, Annalie. You're not. You're mean, wicked, evil witch, and I hate you.
Katie, don't say such hurtful things. I love you.
Then let us go. Put us back the way we were, where we belong.
Ain't you learned? Oh, this is a mask. Ain't you learned, brat? Morlocks what you are. Here is where you stay.
Yo, Annalie, tell me, do you think this is what your real children sounded like before they were murdered? I wonder, did they plead, beg, pray? What their killer did out of hate, you claim to do for love. But the end result's the same, the destruction of innocent lives. Is that what you want? To be just like him?
No, no.
Ain't nobody dying here, ex-girly, except maybe you. I'm finishing what I started, and there ain't a thing you can do to stop me.
Mask.
Callisto!
I hope for your sake you have a real good explanation for this.
Later.
I want every memory restored, Dreamer. Every change you made put right. Just as Mask did with their bodies. To their parents as well. Sunday you'll handle returning the furniture. By sunrise. I want everything back the way it was. Understand?
Sure thing, Cal.
And furthermore, since I evidently didn't make myself clear last time, I'll say it plain as can be. These children are to be left in peace. They're friends, like the X-Men. They're off limits. I grieve for your loss, Annalie. I loved your kids too. And I swear we'll bring their murderer to justice. But I won't allow this kind of raiding. That's our law, old woman. I don't want to face you in the ring, but defy me again and I will.
Let's do it now, Cal. Get it over with. At least then, I'll be at peace. I'll be with my babies.
What do you mean, Annalie? How can you? When they're...
This is the Morlock way, Katie. A trial by combat.
You're no fighter, Annalie. In your case, that'd be tantamount to a summary execution. You can't, Annalie. You mustn't.
My babies are dead. What have I to live for? You're nothing like my youngest. She was very quiet. She'd sit and watch the world go by with big, dark eyes as if she understood the secrets of the universe. Her gift was much like our healer's. Just being with her made you feel wonderful. I miss her so, Katie. Why did my lovelies have to die?
I don't know. But don't you see? We're not yours. And if we stay, our parents will feel the same as you, no matter how hard beautiful Dreamer tries to make them forget. They'll remember in their dreams. They'll hurt deep down inside without knowing why, and all the happiness will go out of their lives. Does your little girl want that? Don't she want her mommy to be so cruel in her name? But look, even if not your children, can't we still be friends? I mean, we already have a special grandfather. Who says we can have a special grandmother too?
Oh, Katie, I thought you hated me.
That was before. I was scared then, but I'm better now.
Could have fooled me. Of all the totally dumb ideas. Check power. Not another word, you unfeeling beast, or I'll knock you silly. I mean it. I think it's a sweet idea. You would.
I agree with her, baby brother.
Alex, you're kidding. You can't.
We could visit, and maybe you could come for Thanksgiving. To coin a phrase, all's well that ends well. Though I confess, these kids are a whole lot more generous than I'd... Ray, you look funny. What's the matter?
It's a psychic alert from the mansion. Something's terribly wrong. A potential world-class catastrophe. We're needed immediately. But, Kitty, it isn't Professor Xavier calling us. We're being summoned home by Magneto. To be continued in Secret Wars 2, number 1. And X-Men 196. What was that? Chuck says, how old is this loquacious kid? Yeah, her, obviously, she speaks incredibly well for a 5-year-old to be so earnest with this vulnerable woman. You know, that's Magneto. Definitely not the ending I expected, but I know what the missing panel is. It's as everything is peaceful and they've made amends. It's Wolverine walking in with body parts.
Yeah, like the head of somebody else.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey guys, I fit." What? And he just
Whoa.
has to stop himself midway and quietly back out of the room to not
Nothing to see here, kids.
to not make the matters worse, because he went lethal on those guys. That was the underlying, or like the subtext was he was going to kill everyone in that alley.
Exactly.
But they resolved this without bloodshed after. But he still killed alley's worth of Morlocks.
Hey, so this whole Annalise children were killed. Is that in reference to the last time they were in the sewers in the Morlocks? I don't know when it was, but they come running and say they just killed us. They killed these kids for no reason whatsoever. Do you remember
I
that?
would have to go back and take a look. I don't remember. Do you want me to pull out the book right now and take a look?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Last time they are in the Morlocks. Is it anyway? But there's a scene where I guess it's not when they're the magician has changed the world of them. It's in real time. But anyway,
No, I'm interested.
and that was my takeaway, was that they don't say they're Annalise kids, but they say they just killed. And I think something like Callista's see, X-Men, this is what we deal with. They just want to kill us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Something strange like that. But it's in the last 10 episodes or something like that.
I'm going to take a look through the phone book while I'm here. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't an extra page or anything after that weird Dazzler ad. If you, I'm going to go back to it actually just to
the Dazzler.
Take a look at that Colossus suit, and you can see that there isn't yet an understanding of how they actually draw his costume.
Mm-hmm.
JRJR is still figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, there isn't, it's not like the character sheet has gone through Marvel Comics yet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's, when Cockrum gets all these characters designed, they're moving through the series, there are character designs that go across Marvel Comics, and so everyone who has to draw them knows how they look. But that wasn't the case with Colossus at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
His costume is very much up in the air.
Right.
So I do think there was a reference there. Great reading, guys. I wasn't a fan of Power Pack, but this was funny. Yeah, we try to make it fun for us to read, at least, Eli says, did the Power Pack characters ever grow up in universe? Not to the best of my knowledge. I stopped reading before they would have come of age. So I saw up until they were still little kids, mostly. I always hear, Teach Pass says, I always hear Joan Jett's voice in my head when Callisto speaks, complete with electric guitar. Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
That's a good call. So I'm just going to take a look through, if you don't mind, to see what I can find of these. Because there was that whole thing with Professor X being in the sewers, right?
Yeah.
Where he was with the Morlocks. Yeah, there you go. Dude, you're exactly right.
What issue is it?
It's the one where Professor X wakes up after his attack. It's right. 193.
In the GIMP gear.
It's panel right there.
Yeah.
Sunder comes running in.
With these bodies.
Yeah, and he says, he comes running in and says, Annalise kids.
Oh, it is.
Somebody shot him, Cal, murdered him in cold blood. And she's like, see, Xavier? This is the reality of mutants' existence. We'll always be targets, even babies who never did anyone harm. So I also wonder if that shooting was in 192, when Xavier gets attacked. If that attack is also, I'm sure they'll.
Oh yeah, right. When he's on the campus.
Yeah, I'm just having to go back past the X-Men Alpha Flight, which is there as well, and then the annual with all the weird art from everybody. The issue where they fight Magus, and Xavier's on campus, and he just gets attacked. They don't say anything about killing kids. Just beat up Xavier. Yeah, it's heavy. I mean, that's the idea that these kids, again, it's very much connected to the show that we're all loving. But there are real stakes for innocent, vulnerable people. Yeah, very cool.
Anyway,
Good remembering, by the way.
thanks.
You get extra points. I'm not going to look any further than that. That was cool.
Perfect.
They are about late teens now.
Eli asked if they ever grow up in the universe.
Yeah, it's crazy to think they're only late teens now. Alex is almost 20. Nuts. Had to find out. Only Alex went on. The chameleons had given Alex the ability to absorb the powers of his siblings into himself and thus use them all. With these powers, he joined the new Warriors superhero group under the name Power Packs, later Powerhouse. Yeah, this is where different writers come on, and we're going to take an old idea and run with it and try and rework it. Fun. If he turns into a great character that somebody loves, that is awesome. If not, so be it.
He shows up in the Deadpool movie, we'll love it.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. I love that he's the only one who gets to carry on. The rest are just
Right.
they're just gone. Yeah, there you go. We're okay. Anything else you want to cover before we call it a night?
No, I don't think so. I think
Really?
let's see. We've got something happening in 5 hours, but we already know people are going to watch tomorrow.
It's called X-Men.
It's called X-Men. That's the one. I will say, by the way, Jason was mentioning earlier how we did get to meet this visual effects person on the show. It's so interesting because this whole show coincidentally we've been at a number of comic shows where we've met voice actors on this show. We've met visual effects people on this show. So it's definitely out there and happening to us in real time as well, which is kind of wild to see.
It's also neat just because it's happening around Ontario, right? So he lives in. His name is Dennis Moran. And he lives in Ottawa. And a lot of the voice acting stuff happens here in Toronto. Or are they going out there to film or to record? I imagine they can record remotely these days anyway. But I did pick up, he has a... Did you get his holographic sticker pack?
I didn't, but he has... that's
X-Men.
Cool. X-Men, yeah.
A whole pack of stickers of X-Men. I picked them up. They were tons of fun. He was really nice to talk to.
He was.
Great to talk X-Men with, of course. Yeah, I'll just keep showing these. Dennis is a super nice guy. I got his graphic novel, too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have not gone through my purchases from TCAF yet and, added to my... Instagram, you know what I mean? Added everybody.
Yeah,
I will go and do that shortly. I've just been busy. There's Gambit. Regular Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, not holographic, just straight up Wolverine. Doing some ice fishing. A fun idea. In 3 weeks, you and I will be along the Ottawa River Valley in a beautiful town called Deep River. At Deep River's Geek Fest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to go to Geek Fest, to go to a smaller convention with lots of people we haven't met yet.
Yeah.
And meet some new potential readers and talk to fans of things like X-Men, which will still be a buzz by the time we get there. So that wouldn't be surprised if we have some X-Men merch. But I'm very much looking forward to that. And of course, while we're there, you'll be able to get your copies of Group of Seven: Most Secret Tale Expanded Edition, our latest version of our 6-issue story featuring 7 famous Canadians on a secret fictional mission to save the world. As well as the latest issues of Peregrines. I'm looking forward to heading to Deep River with you. It should be a fun drive.
Woo!
Fun brainstorming, fun time listening to some podcasts and some music.
Totally.
I'm going to try and get you to listen to some Matt Mays and El Torpedo.
Sure.
Some good Haligonian rock. Anything else you want to cover before we call it a night?
No, I think we're okay.
So thank you to everyone in the chat. You guys are amazing. Really, it makes this totally worthwhile doing in this format to share the evening with everybody there. So we really appreciate it. You guys definitely make it a special time. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for that. So keep coming back. We really appreciate it. It means the world to us. So cheers, and I hope everyone enjoys not just this, but enjoys the show tomorrow, and we will talk about it again next week. We'll be covering issue 196 next week, and of course, episode 10, the finale of season 1 of this finale of season 1 of X-Men 97. There you go.
Wow. That is
there
wild.
you go. Perfect. So that brings us to the end of another episode of Previously in X-Men and our limited sub-series Previously in X-Men 97, or on X-Men 97. Thank you, of course, to my good buddy, writer of Group of 7 and Peregrines, Chris Sanagan. So thank you, Chris. You can find out more about our comics and upcoming appearances at Group of 7 comics.ca. Of course, it's the number 7. And follow us at Group of 7 Comics on social media. Please click like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us your take on X-Men comics. Did you like this power pack crossover? Could you have done without it? Could you have done without the first 8 pages? And throw it in the comments below. It really does make a huge difference for how much traffic we get. So we appreciate that. And of course, as I haven't said thank you enough, I'll say it the last time. Thanks, Bub.
Stay XE, and yes, Eli, I love you too.
And have a good night. We'll see you next time. Good job. Everyone did such a good job tonight.